was kind of funny, but like now I look back at it, I see the love and the passion.
Have you heard the latest rumor swirling around the music industry? Brace yourself because this one's a real jaw-dropper. Picture this. The legendary Whitney Houston, with her heavenly voice and unforgettable tunes, might just have a hidden connection to another famous face. So, who's the mystery link to Whitney that's got tongues wagging? Hold on to your hats because word on the street is that Teresa Graves could be Whitney's birth mother. Yes, you heard that right. The very same Teresa Graves from the TV hit Get Christy Love. Sounds too unbelievable, doesn't it? But hey, in the wild world of showbiz, stranger things have happened. The rumor mill is working overtime, spinning tales of Whitney's family secrets. It's like a scene from a blockbuster movie, but this drama is real. And guess what? Sissy Houston, who's been keeping a low profile, might finally be ready to spill the beans and confirm what everyone's been whispering about for years. Now, you might be scratching your head, wondering why this rumor is causing such a stir. Well, imagine discovering that the person you thought you knew so well had a whole different backstory hidden away. It's like stumbling upon buried treasure in your own backyard.
Can't believe that. This theory got me shook. Whitney Houston is without question one of the greatest talents of all time. But that's not Whitney Houston, that's Teresa Graves. Folks in the industry claim she's Whitney's biological mother.
Teresa Graves was a big name in her day, just like Whitney. And here's the kicker. They kind of look alike too. I'm talking about similar facial features, the sparkle in their eyes, even the way they grin. Coincidence? Maybe. Or perhaps there's more to this tale than meets the eye. Plus, rumor has it that Teresa and Whitney's mom, Sissy Houston, were tight back in the day. Coincidence? Doubtful. Now, you might be wondering, how on earth could such a bombshell secret stay under wraps for so long? Well, that's what makes this rumor so darn fascinating. Could it be possible that Whitney's real mama is someone other than the person we've always thought? Get ready to be shocked, intrigued, and maybe even a little teary-eyed. This is the scoop you've been itching to hear, straight from the horse's mouth. Sissy Houston is gearing up to spill the beans, and you won't want to miss a single juicy detail. So, let's dive into the mystery of Teresa Graves, the supposed mother of Whitney Houston, and unravel the captivating connection between these two iconic figures. Strap in, folks. It's gonna be one wild ride.
So sue me already. Time for a different attack. Hold on, I think...
Graves had a start in Houston, Texas on January 10th, 1948. She was right in the middle of 3 kids. Her folks, Marshall and Willie Graves, moved the family to Los Angeles, California. She finished high school at Washington High in 1966. Her classmates thought she was super talented. Her career kicked off with singing gigs with the Doodletown Pipers. She even made her own album in 1970. But soon, she switched gears and got into acting. You might have seen her on TV in shows like Our Place and Turn On. She even went on a tour with Bob Hope's crew in Southeast Asia. She got her big break when she landed a role on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. But that wasn't all. She also starred in some movies. One of them was That Man Bolt in 1973. Unfortunately, her character gets shot while cozying up with Fred Williamson's character. Then came her game changer. She starred in a TV movie called Get Christy Love in 1974. She played Christy Love, a detective. It was a big deal because she was one of the first African-American women to lead her own TV show. People loved her tough but feminine style. People of all colors tuned in to watch Teresa kick butt and take names. She wasn't just an actress. She was a hero, inspiring folks everywhere to believe in themselves and fight for their dreams. Teresa Graves didn't just light up the screen, she lit a fire in the hearts of millions. But life happened as it usually does. Her life became a life full of twists and turns, just like a roller coaster ride. Teresa was married twice in her lifetime. Her first marriage was to a man named Richard Hooker, but sadly, their love train reached a dead end, and they parted ways. But Teresa didn't lose hope in finding her happy ending. She boarded another train of love when she married James Randolph in 1974. Their journey together lasted until Teresa's unexpected departure from this world. Now, you know more about Teresa Graves' life. Let's change gear, folks, and talk about the whispers going around, a secret that made people's ears perk up with curiosity. Back in the groovy 60s and 70s, when Whitney and Teresa were rocking the music scene, America was buzzing with change. Big fights for civil rights were happening, and guess what? Music was smack dab in the middle of it all. Soul, gospel, and R&B were the beats everybody was grooving to. Whitney and Teresa, they were both queens of those genres, belting out tunes that could tug at your heartstrings. Teresa later dabbled in acting, but music still pumped through her veins. And Whitney? Oh boy, that voice of hers could reach deep down into your soul, just like the tunes of that era. Now, here's where the rumor comes in. Some people started saying that Teresa might actually be Whitney's real mother. Can you imagine that? Two famous singers connected by something so personal and secret? Nobody's got the real scoop, but back in the day, hints were dropped like breadcrumbs in the music biz. And you know how gossip spreads like wildfire, especially when it's about big names. Being a singer, especially a black woman like Whitney or Teresa, wasn't a walk in the park back then. They faced hurdles left and right, sometimes having to keep their personal lives under wraps to save their careers. Maybe that's why, if there's any truth to the rumor, they kept it on the down low. Back in those days, people didn't spill their guts like they do now. If scandalous stuff leaked, it could wreck everything they'd built. So maybe that's why the rumor stuck around, even without solid proof. But let me tell you, even if it was just hearsay, folks couldn't help but wonder. Whitney and Teresa were both powerhouses, and they had a lot in common. Same looks, same voice vibes. Teresa was born in '48, Whitney in '63, both in Houston, Texas. But wait, there's more. Some say Teresa had Whitney when she was just 15 and gave her up for adoption to Whitney Houston, who was Teresa's aunt. And get this, Teresa's middle name was Marie, just like Whitney's. Maybe that's why the rumor kept coming up again and again, even long after they were gone. But you know what's really special about this rumor? It shows just how much people loved Whitney and Teresa. They were more than just singers to their fans. They were like symbols of strength and inspiration, especially for black women who faced a lot of challenges back then. All right, diving into their careers. Teresa kicked things off singing with the Doodletown Pipers, a crew that rocked TV screens in the late 1960s. Then she switched lanes to acting, popping up on shows like Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In and in movies. But her real big moment? That happened when she took on the role of Christy Love, a super cool detective battling crime in LA. She was a trailblazer, paving the way as the first black woman to lead her own drama series. Talk about breaking barriers. She opened doors for stars like Pam Grier and Angela Bassett, setting the stage for a whole new era. Now let's talk Whitney. She skyrocketed into the music scene, becoming a megastar in the 80s and 90s. Born in Newark, New Jersey on August 9, 1963, she wasn't just destined for greatness. She was greatness, straight from the get-go. Growing up in a house filled with music, her mom, Whitney Houston, a legend in her own right, played a major role in shaping Whitney's passion for music. Surrounded by relatives like Dionne Warwick and Dee Dee Warwick, who were also music buffs, Whitney was steeped in a world where tunes weren't just melodies, but a whole vibe. Her journey into the music world kicked off in a big way in the early 1980s, when music big shot Clive Davis spotted her raw talent. Her debut album in 1985 catapulted her to stardom with 3 smash hit singles, making her an instant sensation across the globe. With her powerhouse vocals and magnetic stage presence, Whitney became a household name that everybody adored. Throughout her career, Whitney blended pop, R&B, and gospel into her music, crafting a sound that was totally her own. Hits like I Will Always Love You and I Wanna Dance With Somebody became anthems for a whole generation, bagging her awards and stealing hearts worldwide. Life wasn't all glitz and glam for Whitney. She had some real tough times, especially with her marriage to Bobby Brown, who was also a singer. People talked a lot about her using drugs and having problems at home. It was like her troubles were out there for everyone to see, which must have been really hard for her. But you know what? Despite all that drama, Whitney's singing was what people remembered her for. Her voice was like nothing else, and she sang perfectly. She set the bar high for other singers like Mariah Carey and Beyoncé. They looked up to her a lot. And Whitney wasn't just about singing. She also acted in movies like The Bodyguard and Waiting to Exhale. She wasn't just a singer, she was a really good actress too. Plus, she had a big heart. Even with all her own problems, she found time to help others. She cared a lot about people who didn't have much. Then, on February 11th, 2012, something terrible happened. They found Whitney in a hotel room in Beverly Hills. She had drowned accidentally, and she had heart problems and used drugs, which made it worse. It was a shocking thing for the whole world. Millions of people were sad because Whitney wasn't just a singer. She was like a force of nature. Her voice touched so many hearts, and her life inspired people everywhere. Now, back to Teresa. Teresa didn't have any kids, but she was all about love. Her family and friends were her rock, keeping her steady when life got bumpy. She cherished every second with them, making sure every day was full of laughs and happiness. When she wasn't acting, Teresa had loads of hobbies. Books were her thing. She'd dive into them, letting her imagination go wild. Music was like food for her soul, and boy, could she sing! Her voice was like magic, filling the air with beautiful tunes. Plus, she was all about spirituality, finding strength in her faith when life got rough. But Teresa's life wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Being a black woman in showbiz during the 1960s and 70s was tough. Racism and discrimination tried to hold her back, but she stood tall, showing that talent knows no color. One of her hardest moments was when her show, Get Christy Love, got canned in 1975. It was a hit, but they pulled the plug after just one season. It hit Teresa hard, but she wasn't one to stay down. With guts and grit, she picked herself up and kept going. Even though she didn't land big roles after Get Christy Love, Teresa didn't give up. She popped up on other shows like The Love Boat and Fantasy Island, but nothing quite matched the thrill of her detective days. But Teresa was more than just a Hollywood star. She had a heart of gold, always helping others and getting involved in her community. People loved her for her acting chops and her kindness. Then tragedy struck in 2002. A fire tore through Teresa's house because of a busted heater. Despite efforts to save her, she couldn't make it out alive. Her death hit everyone hard. Teresa wasn't just an actress. She was a friend, a role model, a real-life hero. After she was gone, everyone couldn't stop talking about her. They shared stories of how she broke barriers and inspired others. But here's the thing. There's no real proof that Teresa and Whitney were mother and daughter. It's just talk. They were both talented women who made their mark on the world in their own ways. Teresa broke barriers in TV, and Whitney ruled the music scene. They might have shared some similarities, but that doesn't mean they're family. Whether or not they were family, Teresa Graves and Whitney Houston made a big impact. They showed everyone what black women could achieve in showbiz. Teresa led the way, and Whitney wowed us with her voice and charm. They might not be related, but they'll go down in history as two incredible women who shook things up.